Hey, everybody, it's time for another heavy metal shootout. Two records go in, one record comes out. Today's combatants are the following. Number one is Exciter's Long Live the Loud, and its antagonist today is Front 242's official version. Now, what brings these two together? Why are they clashing today? No other reason than I bought them both yesterday at Big Dig Records in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Great shop, by the way. They have some seriously heavy hitting diggers, getting great stuff there. Check them out. I always come up with something tasty, as I did yesterday with these two records. Yeah, I'll tell you how much I paid for them. Front 242, 45. Exciter, 40. Not that it matters, but I'm just telling you that's how much these are going for these days. So let's get to it now. Here's what I want to say. First off, is that all right? Well, Front 242 official version was released in 1987. Long Live the Loud was released in 1985. I've seen both of these bands multiple times, and I will say that easily Exciter is heavier live. Front 242 is just not as heavy live. Of course, Front 242 is a Belgian industrial band and is not necessarily interested in being heavier than a Canadian speed metal band. But I will also say that industrial bands in the 80s did also pride themselves in intensity, in how thick their sound could be. So it counts as far as I'm concerned. Now, the song Beyond the Gates of Doom, which is the last song on the first side of Long Live the Loud, is heavier than anything Front 242 or any 80s industrial band, including Ministry, has ever done, and it's probably the heaviest thing that Exciter has also done. And that's something we have to think about here. But we're going by an entire album, not just by one song. Now, the issue with Long Live the Loud is that, I mean, it's basically the same as every Exciter album. The production on this record is awful, thin and mushy, and it doesn't help that Combat, by the way, who released a lot of seminal records that a lot of heavy metal kids were buying, and they did it on the thinnest vinyl possible. I mean, look at this. Records aren't supposed to do this. You can almost see through this thing. That's how thin this album is. So obviously, you're not going to get 180-gram quality out of this thing, you know. So that is something to think about as well. Now, official version, on the other hand, incredible production. And really, the reason that I'm even making the comparison here is that, when I was younger, when you were younger, when we were teenagers, unless you're a teenager now, and you're probably in the same position, we didn't listen to records on great sound systems. Mostly, we were getting them from friends, inheriting them from our parents. We were, dragging them from the street, whatever they were. And they were, pretty bad. You never really heard the albums as they were intended to be heard. Now, as a, middle-aged, middle-class man, I have a mid-fi, certainly not high, certainly not audiophile, but I have a mid-fi, I would say, set up. So I can hear what these records actually sound like in real life as they were meant to. And I have to say that listening to the Front 242 record on a good sound system is actually pretty scary. It's got these fascist beats that are pounding relentlessly into your skull by a machine that knows no mercy, no sympathy. I mean, it's heavy. Now, thematically, official version is largely about isolation, wherein Long Live the Loud is about rockin'. Both, of course, are relevant today. But rockin' is basically the antidote to isolation. So I have to give bonus points to Exciter thematically. Also, Exciter's album cover, I mean, is clearly the winner. I mean, look at this thing. It's amazing. I think that I've also seen it on an album, on a book cover at some point, but it's also got some nudity on it, which is a bonus for teenage thrashers like myself. So we got that going for it as well. And but listen, here's the thing. I am 100% Nick Sider fan. I have been since I heard them the first time in early 1983. Heavy Metal Maniac was the first speed metal record that I ever heard, even before Kill 'Em All. I love them. These first three records were the original band, the original lineup. Killer songs, again, betrayed somewhat by their production, but they play a lot of them live still, and they're all killers, and I love Exciter. But here's the thing. The louder you play Long Live the Loud, the more shrill it gets. And the louder you play official version, the more intense it gets. So even though, I mean, I've listened to them both over and over again in the past few days to try to get to this conclusion. And I was, of course, really rooting for, I mean, I'm a industrial fan too, but I was really rooting for Exciter. But you know what? At the end of the day, if we're talking about what is the heaviest here, I don't know. I got to give it to Run 242 with official version. It's just heavier. That's all there is to it. We'll do this again soon. Talk to you later.